today. This is going to be a longer than usual reading for me because I feel inclined to give you a little bit more today. Um, yes. Hope everybody got up and did their things today. Doing chores as usual, trash day, the normal stuff like that. All prepped up. So let's get seated and booted. Yeah. So dear Lord, we come for you before you today to ask your forgiveness for both our understanding and our ununderstanding, and to ask for grace and mercy in all things according to you in the name of Jesus. Amen. So we're going to start with Psalms 29. Give unto the Lord, O ye mighty, give unto the Lord glory and strength. Give unto the Lord the glory due unto his name. Worship the Lord in the beauty of his holiness. The voice of the Lord is upon the waters. The God of glory thundereth. The Lord is upon many waters. The voice of the Lord is powerful. The voice of the Lord is full of majesty. The voice of the Lord breaketh the cedars. Yea, the Lord breaketh the cedars of Lebanon. He maketh them also to skip like a calf. Lebanon and Syrian like a young unicorn. The voice of the Lord divideth the flames of fire. The voice of the Lord shaketh the wilderness. The Lord shaketh the wilderness of Kadesh. The voice of the Lord maketh the hinds to calve, and discovereth the forest, and in his temple doeth every one speak of his glory. The Lord sitteth upon the flood, yea, the Lord sitteth king forever. The Lord will give strength unto his people. The Lord will bless his people with peace. Yes. Good morning. And that was from the Holy Bible, King James Version. This was Nelson 6162W. I do not know what that means. It was on the spine of. So with that being said, we're going to move right along. And what I have to say today is when I give out my information, trust me, it is not pointed to any one thing. This is a general reading. So because my intuition had been blocked mechanically, like due to some undue stress, unwarranted stress. I mean, I had people like putting stress on me for no good reason. For a while, it kind of blocked my intuition because I was writing and stuff for so many years. And when people started putting so many burdens on me and I started accepting them, I unfortunately helped the people to block my intuition. So with all that being said, now that I brush my shoulders off, I'm able to think more clear. And sometimes drama and trauma will do that to you, and fortunately for some of us, we've come out on the other side a bit stronger. And that's to say that some of us have become more sensitive. Yeah, us. See, strength comes in so many different ways and levels. I've been studying now. I've been in my book. I am actually doing a health course, a life health course, and it is helping me to not only discover better ways in which to word the discussions in which I'm having and the relations in which I'm having. It actually absolutely is helping me in my growth discovery of myself and everything that relates to everything. And I mean, everything relates to everything. If you've ever spoken to me, correlation is a big subject that I tend to delve into, and I'm still learning every day. Like even looking at an ant coming towards me on a curb is simply interesting at this point. Even more interesting than human species. I basically have been underwhelmed with the examples that I've had so far. So I'm just waiting to get into some better circles in which that I can have a better life experience. Not to say that I haven't had some spotty experiences with individuals that I've already experienced, but left a lot to be questioned about myself and where I was, where I thought that was okay. But what I was saying about the message is, my messages are general, so I do pick up on a lot of things, and I have a mathematical mind, so I work by product of deduction and experience, and you know how algebra does that to 2x plus so, like, yeah, that's basically how the human relations things goes in my mind. So I have deduced that less is definitely more for me, because people tend to really like jar me with their extra, and because I have such, I guess I attract people that are complex, and that's a good thing and a bad thing, because the good thing is I now know what to do with that. I know what to do with that. That means that I have a calling in my life. I have a calling to go in and find out what's going on. The bad thing is that was free therapy that I'm no longer offering. I'm no longer offering free therapy. So you have to find me either on YouTube, or when I get a chance, I'll set up the website for the consultations. But let's wait until I graduate, because this is how you do things in order. So with that being said, let's get into it. I have 2 decks, and oh, good morning, everybody. I'm not going to do too much chatting because I want to get through the reading this morning. And I also want to sing to you, because I did not do that last night. After studying and reading for so long last night, like I actually was in my books last night. Really good book. Taming Your Gremlin. Really, really good. It's a good reflective book as to addressing like different archetypes in your life. Really good read. Really good read. You need to know who you're approaching, and you need to know who you are when they're approaching you, so that the two don't get mixed up, because we tend to talk at people and not to people, and that gives us assumptions. And instead of us actually communicating the assumption, a lot of times we just go with what we think. And not to say that it's wrong, but you could be. You could be. That's the arrogance of leaning on your own understanding, because sometimes you can ask a question, and sometimes the answer can be right or wrong, but then it's also a burden of research and understanding that you have as well. So with that being said, I'm gonna start shuffling. This is my Astro Matrix, and this is cool. It has a phoenix on the top of it, and I'm actually going to do the ethereal as well. And like I always say, 6 is my fix. 6. Whoop, 1 already popped out. That's the 4 of Swords. It fell upside down, so we're going to leave it there. I hope everybody's having a good Friday. Oh, shoot. See these? They popped out. That's 2 cards. That is the 9 of Swords and the Knight of Swords. This is how that popped out, right? We're going to keep that just like that. I said 6 is my fix. That's another one. I don't know what that is. That is the 2 of Swords. Oh, shoot. I'm not taking all of them. My hands are so small, so let's just keep shuffling. If they come back out, then we understand. They had a meeting for the CEO of school yesterday in my district. I don't know what's going on. I try to be as wow. So I'm going to take all three of these. Even though 6 is my fix, it's going to be 7 today. 7 is a good number. I like 7. 7 is good. So this is what popped out. This and this. So I'm going to take it. I'm going to put it down and see what we're talking about. And then I'm going to go into the ethereal deck. I think the ethereal deck is so pretty. I just like the way whoever illustrated it did a good job. Okay, so so we started with the 4 swords, the Knight of Swords, the 9 of Swords, that's across the top, that's the 3 across the top. Now we got 4 at the bottom. Ooh, the 7th card is like, I'll tell you that after I go through the other 3 at the bottom, and then I'll tell you about the 4th one at the end. The 2 of Swords, the King of Swords, the 2 of Pentacles. Let's grab the book, because I want you to be so crystal clear on what I'm saying to you. So on the top row, we have the 4 of Swords in reverse. Let's see what the book says. Alright, 4 of Swords. Do not overwhelm yourself with tasks. Take time to sit and relax. This is Jupiter Libra. And we got it in the reverse. So it means overcoming denial, transforming rejection. Okay? And next to that, we have the Knight of Swords. Come on, y'all. I'm getting to it. Change is hard to accept, but it takes you to use your full potential and reap the fruit of your labor. See? I'm not only reading for you, I'm reading for me. Fire and air. See, yeah, that applies to me big time. It's hard to accept that you may have to do things differently and you may have to leave some things behind. You do. It's part of growing up. It just is. Even the baby has to leave its pacifier. Even the first grader has to graduate. You have to graduate 5th grade. Sometimes you flunk out of band. Sometimes you fail gym. Not because you couldn't do it, because you didn't bring your uniform. It's so many reasons why things happen, but you have to accept it and you need to either change it or keep it pushing. So the Knight of Swords, that was in the reverse. Being polite, being gentle. Knight of Swords. So definitely for me and you. Sometimes it does take a gentle nudge to get things going. And some people need to be more gentle. Where they think harsh is good, sometimes you've not done so well. Then we've had the 9 of Swords. That's Gemini energy. Yikes. Masculine. That's the 9 of Swords. We're in the swords. It looks a lot of swords out here. Okay, so the 9 of Swords is, do not feel ashamed of being traumatized. Chin up. Conquer your pains. You have, this is calling for you to be very, very brave. That's what I was saying yesterday's reading. That card definitely means being brave. Recovering from illness and releasing trauma. Okay, so for some of us, we've hold. Okay, let's explain this ease. This, as a I think it's Latin pronoun or something like that. Look it up. Don't lean on my understanding. This is non. No, it's a negative. And ease. Ease is the comfort and the ease in which you are able to do something. So when things become dis-ease, it means it's no longer easy. It's become difficult, or disease might be, some illness might have come upon through the disease of your life, or the disease of your diet, or the disease of your mindset, or the disease of anything that might be going on in your life. Because sometimes it could come through your life physically when you are going through a lot of things spiritually and emotionally, and it could cause different autoimmune illnesses and recurring illnesses, stress, things of that nature, in men and females, and it all comes through differently depending on your genetic makeup. So with that being said, don't feel ashamed for being traumatized. Chin up, conquer your pains. And sometimes it might be therapy. Sometimes it might just be having a hard conversation, or actually just going to go sit down with yourself and have that conversation with yourself. So that's what I have on the top row 3. So the bottom row, under 4 of swords, we had 2 of swords, and I want to explain the correlation of why it's underneath. Okay, so keep your personal and professional relationships balanced to avoid a drama-free life, something we all struggle with. This has Moon and Libra. So the Moon is intuition. Libra is supposed to be balance and justice. This is in the upright. Having patience, keeping relationships balanced. Okay. So this is something that a lot of us struggle with. Keeping your personal and professional life relationships balanced to avoid a drama-free life. Okay. So this looks a lot like making sure that your left hand doesn't interrupt your right hand. A lot of people thought that I was going to say don't let your right hand let you know with your left hand and all that. No, because that's starting to get played out, because everybody's being kind of like divisive and sneaky, and if everybody's doing that, then who's telling you the truth? It's very hard to discern when everybody's being so strategic, right? So a lot of times we've overcomplicated things and then have the goal to blame everyone else. I mean, you see this card, right? This is like when it really needs to be, why am I positioned here? So the balance of things a lot of times comes from the actual skill itself, not from the external weights that we have on the outside. Sometimes it comes from the actual balance being itself. You need to introspect. And that's underneath the 4 swords, which I remember telling you that it was, do not overwhelm yourself with tasks, take time to sit and relax. So yeah, that being underneath, maybe go sit down. In layman's terms, right? Okay, so we have the Knight of Swords over the top. That was on the top row. On the bottom is the King of Swords. So you have the Knight of Swords and the King of Swords. Woo, woo, woo. Woo, 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 woo. All right, so I don't know if this is a level up or not. So let's see. King of Swords. Do, 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 do. So after the Knight of Swords, then it's the Queen of Swords, and it is the King of Swords. And that is air. That's Gemini. That's Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. All 3 air signs, all 3 different strengths and weaknesses. Intellect, yes. Different strengths and weaknesses, like I said. Ooh, immense. All right, so when we have the King of Swords, you have a special connection to laws, rules, authority because of your analytical and logical mindset, which means we're very head over heart in most situations. And let's not get it twisted. This is not just secluded to these signs. All signs have elements. It's just some are stronger in others than yours. Don't get that twisted. Okay, so once again, you have a special connection to laws, rules, authority because of your analytical and logical mindset. Research before implementing your decisions. And that is in the upright. Having intellectual power, displaying integrity and truth. And that is right up under the Knight of Swords in the reverse, which was, again, change is hard to accept, but it takes you to use your full potential and reap the fruit of your labor. That's fire and air, fire signs. I think that's Sagittarius, Aries. I want to say Leo. And that was being polite and being gentle. So we have a gentle and polite King of Swords out here that is displaying integrity and truth. Hats off to you, sir, ma'am, sir. Hats off. You got to do your thing. I myself am doing better in that. I'm accepting the fact that I can no longer lie to myself about other people and the parts that they play in my life specifically, because life is easier when you call bullshit on yourself and them. Sometimes you just gotta let things be known. It's a fact to you that this is how people operate, and by math, subtraction is sometimes necessary. Okay, so Two of Pentacles. This girl looks happy. I like her dress. Okay, I like her dress. I like how she's staring at her pentacles intensely. She's in the sea of water. There's a sail in the back. So there's a lot going on in here, which you need to understand. This girl is going places. And she's just trying to refocus these two pentacles. But let's get the reading. Two pentacles, two pentacles, two pentacles, two pentacles. Okay. Strengthen your mind, body, connection, and set your priorities. You need a juggler-like focus to accomplish your targets. Do not commit for what you can't do. This is Jupiter, Capricorn energy. This is in the upright, finding stability, going with the flow. All right, this is underneath the Nine of Swords. That was the ashamed. This is the ashamed. That was the ashamed guy. Let's read it again. That's the Nine of Swords. I want you all to be crystal clear as I read what's going on. Remember, the Nine of Swords was in the upright. Do not feel ashamed of being traumatized. Chin up, conquer your pains. Recovering from illness, releasing trauma, which came in Two Pentacles, came out underneath the Nine of Swords. Strengthen your mind, body, and your mind-body connection, and set your priorities. All right, for those of us who do not like to work out, skip some things in our diet or some people, places, and things. This is time to get focused. This is a good season for that. It's October coming up next week. And you want to make sure that you kind of get ready, because December is coming, and that's the big season in which you reap the benefits of what you've done all year. And you want to get your things in alignment, because, excuse me, fall is such a beautiful season. That's when the trees photosynthesize, or chlorophyll, blah, blah, blah. I got the words, but I don't feel like looking it up. I know the words. That's when all the chlorophyll changes, and you see the reds, the greens, the oranges, the browns, the golds. You see all these beautiful things. And this is when people are also doing that on the inside. So you need to be careful of what you're putting into yourself, what you're consuming. And I mean with your eyes, your ears, your nose, your mouth, just be careful spiritually. You don't want to be consuming the wrong things, and it's really up to your discernment and your level of understanding and where you are in life. Because really, let's just be clear. You don't have to operate on the level that everybody else is operating on, but you do need to be clear and concise about the level you are on, and know that some people love it, some people will hate it, but they gotta respect it enough to go about their way and be where they're accepted and not tolerated. You gotta do that. So, wrapping us up with this the seventh card, it came out in the reverse. It is a seven of pentacles. And this lady is in a field she looks like she's doing a lot of hard work, but it came out in reverse. Let's read what it is. Seven of Pentacles. Focus on your long-term goals and set your plans accordingly. The success of your short-term goals. Affirm your long-term vision and glorification. Saturn and Taurus. Hi, Taurus. This came in the reverse. Overcoming procrastination, being patient. All right. Focus on your long-term goals and set your plans accordingly. The success of your short-term goals. Yep. So, let's not procrastinate any longer. Let's get these things done. Let's take small bites and chew. You know, I remember when I was learning, and they said that the average amount of times, repetitions of chewing it takes to break down your food mechanically is about 22 to 25 times. You need to be able to chew it in order to ingest the food properly. And it's interesting, the number 22. I'm going to stick with 22 because I only gave it 25 because some of us are missing some teeth as we grow up. I know my kids took a couple when I had them. So, yeah, it's really 22. It's in the book, 22 times to at least 22 times of chewing in order to break down what we have. So, some of us have already reached 22 fails before we've actually began to break down and digest the things that we've consumed. And some of us have spread that 22 out over time, so it looks like no growth. Some of us have come out, jumped out the womb and lived hard, fast, and done it. So that's why some people aged or matured, depending on what they've done, faster than others. And some took their time, and some lived a sheltered life. I'm going to say I did all three. I had my times for acceleration. I've had my time for a sheltered life. I had my time for my little stagnation as well. I think when my dad passed away, that was one of the biggest devastating milestones of my life. And unfortunately, due to me not having his big wholehearted Leo protection around me, that was taken advantage of, and I forgive myself for not taking the time to grieve before I interacted with people. And now that I'm in such a better place, here we are. So, representation. I'm repping Diddy. I'm repping Diddy right now, and all the grandmas and cousins and passed on loved ones who are not here. I'm repping for y'all, the ones who were not represented right, and I'm here to represent for the ones who didn't get a good farewell, and the ones who didn't get a good greeting. Hello, welcome. You exist. You are here. You are the person that deserves love. Everyone deserves love. No matter what they've done, it all depends on how you decide to go about your life. Your no is your no. Your yes should be clear, concise, and you have a right to change your mind if you want to. This is the life we're living, and we deserve the space to live without regrets and fear and people overstepping our boundaries and uh, trying to make you live according to how they see things. You have the right to exist in your space, and welcome. I'm here to assist. I fought this calling for so long. I was befriending people who were supposed to be my clients, and I now understand that. So, moving right along, I will be getting things in order so that I can help in the best way that I can, without prejudice and without judgment, which, depending on the person you're talking to, means two different things and the same thing at once. Thank you. Thank you.